This may have been the easiest video to prepare ever because there's no makeup on my face. Yeah, hello everybody. I'm going to talk to you about my experience with isotretinoin or roacutane, as some people know it. I've had acne ever since I was 12, when my body decided to get ready to be an adult. Oh, it went full-blown berserk. So my face, my chest and my back exploded in huge, hard, not cystic, but almost cystic, disgusting blemishes. It was terrible. Of course, that my parents took me to dermatologists throughout my teenage years, and basically nothing helped. Not the pill, not antibiotics, not creams and lotions and whatever. Nothing helped. It kept on flaring up and making me look like my face was going to fall off. And yeah, that was life back then, which was great because I was in a good school filled with great people, nurturing and loving all around me. And when you're a teenager, this really kicks you in the butt. Later on, I was becoming an adult and I thought, well, it's time for my acne to disappear, right? That's what happens to everybody. But I'm not everybody. That was not in line for me. My acne didn't disappear. It subsided a bit, especially on my chest area, but not anywhere else. I didn't have good skin days. It was just terrible. And to add up, I decided to become an actress. Oh, smart decision. So, yeah, when you're an actor, you're being judged by everything you do, you are, you wear, and your facial features, your bone structure, your figure, the way you move, and right there, down the list is your talent, your hard work, your professionalism, and your work ethics. So that is cool. But anyway, I was in my 20s, very early 20s. I hadn't seen a friend of mine for quite a long time. Then I met him and he was looking great. He used to have, you know, guys get that cystic acne on the beard area. That was him. And the next time I saw him, he was amazing. His skin was smooth and no acne to be seen. A little bit of scarring because he had very deep cysts. But other than that, his skin looked amazing, and I was desperate. I went to him and you have to let me know what happened. How did you go through this? And he referred me to a dermatologist who was a very hyped dermatologist at the time, a very revered dermatologist. So I went there and she prescribed me isotretinoin or roacutane in a very high dosage. I figured that out through that little flyer pamphlet that comes with the product, and I was really happy to start the treatment because I had seen the results on my friend, so I was really hopeful. And yeah, I remember I did a huge battery of exams, and you have the reference values and then my values, and they were just not good. They were really, I thought I was going to die, but the doctor said that was normal for that kind of treatment, so okay. And I did also acid peels, those really aggressive acid peels in which you burn off all of your face and you have an acid on your face that is melting your face in a very painful way for the longest 45 seconds of your life, and then you go like that without seeing anything. The nurse is helping you, but you're panicking until you get to the sink and wash it off. It's really, but those acid peels really helped my skin to look a lot more even. So I did that treatment for, I don't know, about 6 to 8 months, I would say. I remember that she used to adjust the dosage depending on how my skin was looking, but I still went through it for a long time. And I don't know if I was at the end of the treatment or about to end the treatment, if I had ended it a couple of months before. What happened was I was with some friends, we had just finished, it was the last day of a play, it was the last performance, and we were just out hanging out and having a few drinks, celebrating, and my heart suddenly started racing. I started shaking, and I had kind of a filter on my eyes because I could see perfectly, but I was aware that the sharpness wasn't there, as if I needed glasses. And at the same time, which was the worst thing, I started to feel not a numbness, but kind of a tingling, strong tingling sensation down my arm and around my shoulder and my face, all on the left side. So I was scared shitless. That time was the worst. I didn't know what was happening. I went home, and as any young person does, I decided to try to sleep it off, which didn't help. Surprise, surprise. Later on, I started reading and getting informed, because those symptoms never got away. Those were very similar to heart attack symptoms, so that was really annoying. And I decided to start reading about it, and I realized I was having panic attacks. So anxiety levels, panic attacks, those are when you're going through problems and you think you're dealing with them really well, but then your body decides to go in full berserk mode and tell you, oh no, you're not dealing with it very well, and I'm shutting this shit off right now, and everything stops until you get your shit together. That is a panic attack, and you have physical symptoms. Some people throw up, some people get dizzy, some people pass out, some people have the same symptoms I have, some people can't breathe. That was something that sometimes happened to me. So it can happen in a lot of different ways. Anywho, I didn't connect the dots. I didn't have any reason to, but then I paid more attention to that little leaflet that comes within the packaging of the product, and I started to read about it. Wait, what is this? It said, other than don't get pregnant, yada yada yada, it said that 1 in every about 10,000 people gets anxiety disorders, panic attacks, and 1 in 100,000 people gets depression and suicidal tendencies. That's good. 1 in 100,000, 1 in 10,000. I mean, I'm an average person in everything I do, so this may not have to be with me. I was going through a bad phase in my life, professionally, emotionally, so I thought it had to do with that. But later on, I talked to people who took the same drug and had the same or similar symptoms within that range. I started to get really suspicious, but anyway, what happened then was that my skin was clear, it was absolutely beautiful, but I wasn't enjoying it because I was having panic attacks, which are very crippling on your everyday life, especially if you're like me and you decide not to take any kind of medicine to help you go through it. So I went through each and every one of them cold turkey, and after a few years, yes, years, my panic attacks started to subside. So they start to be less frequent, and when I had them, they were less intense, and the intervals became bigger until I wasn't having panic attacks unless there was something really bad happening and I could identify it and really put my finger on it and say, okay, this is happening because. Although my skin had cleared up for a few years, right around the time when my panic attacks started to subside or started to basically disappear, my skin started to flare up a little bit again. So for those of you who are going through roacutane or Isotretinoin, know that it comes back. The acne comes back. This is not a permanent solution. It doesn't happen to everybody, but most people just have recurrent acne after a few years. So that happened, and then later on, I was getting married and I decided to go to the dermatologist again. I was very proud. This wasn't as bad at all as it used to be. So she would surely prescribe me a couple more acid peels and maybe some topic creams, and that would be it. I sat down and she looked at me and she opened a pad and started writing isotretinoin. Just like that. And I was saying, what now? Why? And she said, oh, that's terrible. That looks awful. So we're going to go back to the isotretinoin treatments. And I was, okay. But I was really aware. And this time, after about a month of the treatment, I started having the panic attacks full throttle again. So I totally immediately stopped the treatment. I didn't go back to that doctor ever again. If I would, it would only be to punch her in the face, because she shrugged off any problem I told her I had, so she didn't deserve my attention. And after that, it took me just a few years again to go back to normal. I went to therapy. If you want to know how I coped with my panic attacks, just let me know. So what I wanted to say basically is that if you have bad acne and want to treat it, you're considering isotretinoin. 1, make sure that you've exhausted all other options. 2, make sure that you trust the doctor you are going to go with for the treatment, and by that you can do a very simple test, which is, what are your concerns regarding depression, panic attacks, anxiety attacks, those kind of side effects that come in the leaflet, and what do you think about them? If that doctor shrugs off those symptoms, you're not safe with that doctor if by any chance this happens to you. And the other thing is, basically, panic attacks can happen to anyone, even if they don't have isotretinoin on their systems. What happens basically is that your mind and your body have a threshold of shit they can deal with. And when you're on isotretinoin, this is not the scientific explanation, it's just my way of explaining it. Your hormones are all out of their world, and that threshold for your body especially goes from here to here. And you don't have that much of an ability to deal with things that you would deal with okay-ishly in your regular life. So that's what kind of isotretinoin does to certain people. Of course, we all have problems, we all have pains, we all have anguishes, we have our dark days, and we cry and we scream and we try to sleep for days on end, or we just can't sleep at all at night. These are normal ways to deal with problems, and it's okay to be fragile, it's okay to feel sad. Embrace it. You can't control it, and you won't be able to control it for no matter how much you want to control it. You just have to learn to deal with that without blaming yourself. You're not weaker or a loser or less than any other person because you're going through any kind of panic attack, chemically induced or not. You're just a person that has a problem and that needs to solve it, and be it by chemical imbalance or be it because life, you're stronger than you think. And you're better than you think at dealing with things, because if your body can go through this and you're still alive at the end of the day, that's what a therapist told me anyway, you are quite strong. That is quite impressive, and that made a huge impression on me. Just evaluate all your options and take it with a pinch of salt. What happened to me may not happen to you. This is my personal experience, but I hope this has helped at least one person out there. If that happens, I will be very happy for spending these 20 minutes in front of a video camera. So if it helped you, please leave me a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!